Hello, I'm here today to share my the second half of Fodder School 2 projects that I've been working on in the last 6 months. Unfortunately, out of the last 6 months, I've only managed to complete 4 months of projects due to some health issues, but you know, I'm here to share the ones that I managed to complete to date. So this will be part of the Fodder School Hop. You'll find all the details to follow links to the rest of the video hop participants in the below the video. So let's start with the first part of the second half of the year, which is April, and we had where we had Dory Patrick take us through lots of fodder making during the first half of the month, where we used various techniques to create these beautiful, colourful flowers, which we then cut out. We produced these on various types of medium, tissue paper, and just experimented with mediums and the substrate. And then, having cut the flowers out, we then created this bouquet of flowers in a vase on a canvas. So that's what I've done. So I used acrylic for the background. So I literally just sort of created the idea of a table, and then a sort of backgrounds and colours that I liked. I kept the vase kind of monochrome, black and white, just to sort of give more emphasis, I suppose, to the flowers themselves, the bouquet of flowers. I think for this I used one of Tim Holt's tissue collages that you get on the roll, to create the, to sort of keep with the theme of flowers and what have you. So that was my April project finished. And then in May we had Tiffany Sharp, and she took us through a great month. Actually, it was a busy month, making lots of things in this month. And the first half of the month we created some washi tapes, handmade washi tapes, which in actual fact, this was one of the parts of my final project, which was to then decorate some boxes, recycle boxes, decorate them with your kind of leftover fodder, and use some of the washi tapes that you'd created in the first half of the month as well. So this box happens to keep the fodder tapes that I created, and there's various ones here. There's some sort of leftover bits and bobs here. And then we've got various ones. These are ones that I created using pre-made tape, so blank white washi tapes that I bought. And then you kind of we stuck them onto a substrate and then decorated them. And I'll just peel those off when I need them. And then these are some of the ones that I created using various, marks and stamps and various other bits and bobs how we created the washi tapes. And then of course I'm using this box to keep all of them in. And then I also created a couple of other boxes during the month as well, which this one was a smaller box, and this was a little bit more kind of vintage style. So I used some of my other bits of scrap fodder paper to keep in keeping with the effect that I wanted. This was something I think I created maybe in Fodder School 1. Yeah, I think it was. And then this is just a scrappy collection of little bits and bobs that I just keep in this box for future collage projects. And then there was one more box. These are all boxes that have come through the post, either through Amazon or another, delivery. And this one I used to keep some of my kind of foddery bits of things that I've created, whether it be shapes or some of the tags that I'll show you in a minute that we made later on. So these are all, what I loved about this month was the fact that we were creating stuff we could use for other projects, but also, you know, creating these really useful boxes that, you know, I think anyone who is prolific at this and creating fodder all the time, you can never have enough boxes to store these things in. So I now have these wonderful 3 boxes full of fodder that I can use in future projects. Another part of that month's project actually was that we did a postcard swap. I don't actually have any of the postcards that I made because I swapped them, so I've sent them to other people, but these are some of the postcards that I got in return. So you can see how wonderful this was. And these were created from leftovers from the first month which we produced, and we created these lovely postcards and sent them to people in the community. And we sent 10 out, you got 10 back. I don't think that's all of them actually that I received, but they're so lovely. And then we came to June. Now June was kind of a bit of a bad month for me, so I didn't manage to do any of Karen Elaine's projects yet, but I'm really looking forward to getting to that later on. But in July I did manage to work on Megan's project, and for this we created a lovely journal. It was a pretty kind of simply put together journal, using very kind of simple materials for the actual covers. We just used a thick card for the cover, decorated it in some of the, you know, I decorated this in some of the fodder that I'd already created at other times. You know, these were just jelly plate prints that I'd had left over from other Fodder School projects, which I used to decorate the covers. And for this we did some watercolour fodder, which I've used on the cover for this, and we created the pages as part of her lessons as well. And she encouraged us to again experiment with different types of papers, different, you know, from just watercolour paper through to just normal print paper, to this is tissue papers, this is even some clear perspex substrate that we used. So she really encouraged us to experiment with both the substrate and what we put on the substrate as well, and we used various mechanisms to do that. Jelly plate, you know, just printing, painting it on, and it's really produced a lovely mix of textures and colour and cutouts and stuff like that, which, you know, protrude from the edges of the journal. So it's made for a really interesting journal. I haven't managed to find time to work in this journal to add any more stuff into it, but I will definitely be using this to add some journaling into when I get the chance. But that was a lovely little project we worked on in July with Megan Quinlan. Then in August, probably one of my next favourite teachers, Ricky Midrob, and she, or Wiki Tiki Tavi, I think her Instagram name is, we made lots of things in this month. Gosh, we made the final project, I'll just put that to one side for a second, but I think we started off by making these tags. I can't remember which way around it was now, but we made these lovely, what she called scrappy tags, and this month was all about using up your scraps. And you know, anyone who does this kind of thing knows you've always got loads and loads and loads of scraps of paper, whether it be collage fodder or just bits and pieces, fabric, whatever it is you have. You end up having lots and lots of little scrappy bits, and you never throw away. You can always find a use of it, especially, you know, when you're doing lots of collaging. You'll always use these little, even the little tiniest bits. So this month was all about using all of that stuff up. So we created what we call master sheets, and then we cut those up and produced these little tags, which, you know, can be just used, giveaways. I actually just made a whole bunch for breast cancer awareness this month, and I've shared those in my chemo ward because I'm going through chemo at the moment. So I gave a load away, and people have been taking them and loving them. So I put some sort of, you know, quotes, inspirational quotes on them. So these can be used for lots of things. And in the same month with Ricky, we made these lovely, what I can't remember what she called these, scrappy rolls, maybe they're called, scrappy rolls. Again, using up all those scrappy bits of papers and fabrics, and then just adding some stamping and marks and whatever it is that you wanted, some stitching on mine, and then you've got this lovely roll of stuff that you can use to make all sorts of things going forward. You can add these to tags and clusters and things like that, and I made quite a few of these rolls. In fact, I made a few more which I've actually already used up. So that was another part of the month. Then we went on to create these scrappy tags, or clusters, which I've already put in my Fodder Keeper. This is the Fodder Keeper we made in Fodder. This was the first project of Fodder School 1, I think, if I remember correctly, that we made, which is a Fodder Keeper, which is always now just full and full, and is getting fuller and fuller all the time. I think I might have to make another one soon. So I've added all my scrappy clusters into here. So these were just, we used photos with a sort of main focal point of these scrappy clusters, and then we just added again lots of little bits of scraps that we had to hand, and we've created a whole bunch of these lovely clusters and some tags as well. And you know, once you've made these clusters, you can keep them, and then when you're ready, you can be adding them to your journals or to other projects. And then to finish off that month with Ricky, we made a scrappy journal. So this was great because it again delved into our scrapbox, and you know, we took out all any of the scrap fodder papers that we had, and that we'd already made perhaps, and I've already added bits and pieces in here. There's some of the scrappy roll which I used in my journal, so we kind of used some of the stuff we've been making in the first half to add to our journal. So I've started adding some stuff in here, and I'm sure there'll be more journaling that I add in here as well as we go along. But this was a lovely project. I really, really enjoyed this project. Again, encouraging us to use lots of different textures and different ways of using the bits and pieces that we created in the first half of the month. I've even got some dress pattern paper here. Put lots of different types of papers in here just to add some variety. All stuff that I had to hand, and you know, added some decorations to some of the pages already. But there's a lot more to add to this journal, so there's another journal I'll be adding to over the coming weeks. But that turned out to be a really lovely journal that I enjoyed making. And then that's one of the clusters I made that I put on the front of the journal. And that really brings me to the end of my second half of Fodder School 2. I hadn't managed to finish Julie Hamilton's classes, even start her classes, so that's another month that I'll have to catch up on. But I'm now eager. I haven't even started the October Fodder School 3 projects. I've just started the October lessons this weekend, so I'd really like to finish that and get going and try to keep up with the rest of the community on Fodder School 3 before I kind of start going back to the months I missed in Fodder School 2. There's just so much content to absorb, but it's an absolute brilliant course if you're wanting to explore mixed media or art journaling, anything like that. I can't recommend Fodder School enough. This is my third year of doing it, and I think I'll probably be a lifelong student of Fodder School, I have to say, because there's some wonderful techniques and wonderful teachers. So thanks for joining me today. Have a great week. Have a great rest of the year. Bye.